one has done it yet. Okay, perfect.
Cool. All right, so we'll get started. As I sent out an email, we have just a few things to do today. I'm going to pull this up just to have it in front of me. And this will be a combination of Daniel and I, just kind of get you all started. But so we have today tools, local environment, and testing. This was really just to make sure the team could get up to speed on how to get their local environment running.
Yes.
And so we wanted to make sure, one, that we had all the tools installed and we could work through any issues with that. Then secondly, how to get the local development environment set up with all the databases. And then finally, just running through some tests to make sure that those execute successfully locally. So that is the goal for today. Hopefully we can get through all of it. If not, we'll follow up on the session and on tomorrow with any things that we don't get to cover as we move on to that next task.
Okay.
All right. So to kick it all off, Daniel had sent over some documentation in the repo, I think is where it's updated. Daniel, that's in F1 Service Mono.
Yeah, F1 Service Mono. The README has a link to the Getting Started doc that has a list of all the software.
Okay. And just to be certain, just as we go through this, I'll probably be flipping back and forth between, or I'll be on, since we're not on VPN, I'll be on the FlexDrive repositories. But just note that I think most of this is updated on the Santander repositories as well, so we shouldn't have any gaps or anything. And please, as we go through this, if there's anything that I say or Daniel says that we need explanation on, Alejandra and team, please, stop us and translate in Spanish so that everyone is understanding.
Okay.
All right, I'm just getting some screens set up here. So first thing, let's pull this up. Teams. All right, can everyone see my screen?
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, so this repository was updated. And Daniel, is everything updated on that Santander branch?
One thing, Tiga. As far as I know, I think there's more. Oh, okay, this one, yeah. Okay. I think Daniel uploaded to Confluence this file with Python and local stack.
Yeah.
That I think it wasn't on our GitHub's repositories.
It should be. What I just did here on ours is Daniel has been updating a branch on the repository called Santander. And he's been trying to sync this branch. This branch removes some dependencies and he's kind of keeping it up to date. And once we get through everything, we'll merge this down to master. But this is where you probably want to look as well in the repository, is in the Santander branch.
I did just push this to your repository about an hour ago.
Okay. All right, so to get started then, let's see, just to kind of take a poll of everyone, has everyone gone through these tools and done this install, or do we need to start here?
Well, the scenario is mixed.
Okay.
So I guess, well, I know that Guillermo went really far, but maybe he can explain himself because I'm working on my Windows PC. So Guillermo and Alvaros are working on the Mac. They know better.
Okay.
Yes, what Alvaro and I were doing last week was trying to install all these tools you're providing us. So I think we have everything installed about Python, but I think it's included with Mac, isn't it right? Well, if not, we will install it right now.
Okay, yeah. I think Mac comes installed, at least the last I understood, Mac comes installed with Python 2. So you have to also install Python 3 to have both on the machine.
Okay.
And Daniel, did you confirm that this brew command installs Python 3 or?
It's trying to install 3.8 and it says it already has it, our Macs at least. So I think
okay. Yeah, as long as you already have Python 3, you should be good.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right. So the tools is the first thing. We might run into any issues, but we just need to make sure we have the main tools for the local environment, which really is Docker, Visual Studio Code, the NVM manager, and then Python and local stack. We also need these Xcode command line tools. And I think that will be it for this first part this morning. So the second thing, I'm going to assume everyone has these all checked out locally on their machines, or at least everyone who's following along.
Well, I would like to make an appointment here. We don't have, well, at least we didn't have on Friday the last 3 repositories on our GitHub.
Okay. Are they there now?
There is not in our GitHub.
I'll make sure those get added by right after the meeting.
Okay, perfect.
So yeah, that's fine. The ones we're really focused on this morning would be these two. We might get to this one. We'll see how it goes. But we really want to focus on these, and then we'll get to these that are, as we go along. So cool. So let's make sure we have at least the mono repo and the FD system repo checked out. Okay. All right. And then kind of the next thing, let me just get my screens kind of set up here. Okay. Let's do it like this. And then we have these guys. All right, perfect. All right, so here I have everything checked out locally. So I have, oh, Daniel, we also need the template repos. Are those over there?
I think it may be, but I'll confirm that after the call.
Okay. So we need to add to this repo. We need to add to this list a few things. I'll take notes of this and make sure we kind of go through it. So to-dos, add additional missing services. And then we also need to add template repos. And so there are a couple repos, and I'll show you why in a second, but we have a few templates, one for Wabi01, one for Shift. These templates are things like the email templates that get sent out for for any messaging or notifications that go out about the platform, and then various other templates as well. And so the reason that we need these locally is because we clone these and we publish these repos to a local AWS stack. That's what local stack is. We have a Docker container. I'll go through this whole repo here in a second, but we have a local stack running that pretty much runs AWS services locally for you. So we'll need FD system, mono, and these template repos. Otherwise, FD system won't fully complete. And I'll go through that now. So first thing, going through FD system. This repository really is kind of like a developer tool repository that has a bunch of different scripts for setting up the local environment, Docker containers, and things like that. So starting here at the top, I'll just skip these for now and just go into really the infrastructure, and I'll come back to the Fuge folder. So in infrastructure, we're running Docker compose, so we have some compose files in here for different elements, right? So we have a compose file for the databases, which we load Postgres, Mongo, Elasticsearch, and then Redis. We run all these in Docker containers locally. This is why we need Docker running. Then, as I mentioned just a second ago, we also have local stack. And you can look up this, but local stack, like I said, is just an AWS tools, and out of the box it provides things like S3 APIs and KMS APIs that you can use for local development. We also include a proxy configuration. We don't use this as much, but basically this is just to give us some local DNS addressing. There were cases before where we've had to test out proxy configurations. And so sometimes we come in, use these DNS addresses and check out proxies. But for most development, we're just using localhost ports. So 127.0.0.1 or just using localhost. But this is here just in case we need it. So the DNS container and the proxy container are just in case we need it. This configuration here in this local dev proxy folder, similar to what I just said, we set up DNS mask and some Nginx config just to test out proxies in case we need it. All right, and that's pretty much the local infrastructure that we set up. Outside of that, we also have this environment file. This is just some environment variables that need to be set when we get ready to execute this, and we pretty much just copied this file into a .env so that we can set that. And in this case, you'll see that I haven't set the template directory because we pretty much have it hard-coded to a default, and these are set to false, and this is set to just a random email address, and then we have the region. We can change this to Central, European Central if we need to. I'm just going to leave it like this for now. All right, and then from there, I'm going to step over and talk about the setup script that kind of sets up your local environment. So this particular script really just all about running a few commands to set up the local environment. You'll see here that it sources that env file that we just looked at. It goes in and sets some resolvers for running a local host domain. So in this case, we can change this, but it was flexdrive.local. This was just for local DNS records. And then it also sets up a wildcard certificate for those DNS entries for your local. So it uses your trusted cert store on your MacBooks to set up some local certificates. And then this is why you'll see well, we need to set the password. We're running some sudo commands to set all this up. This stuff, like I said, is only really used from everything from line 10 down to line 45 here. Is really just in case we need to use some DNS addresses. We have some things set up to proxy for us. From there, we set up Docker. So we run Docker compose. Those are the compose files that I showed you earlier. We bring all those up. We need to do a setup here for running Mongo as a replica set. And once we do that, we wait for a few minutes, and then we begin seeding the database. So you'll see here, we change directory from here into the mono repo. We run a seed command, which will seed all the databases with some test data. And I'll show you those seed scripts at a later point today. Then the script changes directory back to FD system. If we have this trail thing enabled, we run it. I'll explain that much later. We don't need to talk about that today. And then we go into generating the AWS mock resources. So here we generate a few buckets, one for Shift and Wabi cart templates. We generate some local assets for local assets and one for static assets. We set up an SES for email. This is really just for setting up some email services. We set which the template directory is, which in this case is shift templates. And then we change directory into that one, do a build on those assets, and then we copy those out to your S3 local resource here. And then that pretty much completes the setup. And so I'm going to run through this really quickly just so you see what happens. And then if anyone can follow along, I don't know, Alvaro or Guillermo, if you have this set up, you can try. If you have the templates repo, I'm not sure if those are over there. If not, it won't work.
So no, we don't have the templates repo.
Okay. Daniel, do you think it makes sense if you want to drop and get that pushed over there?
Yeah, I can do that real quick.
Okay, that way somebody could at least try on that side and have some access. Thanks.
Okay, yeah, just shoot me a message if you need me.
Okay. All right, so while Daniel does that, we're just going to go through and start this up. And then I'll walk through a few more things until he gets back, and then we can start talking about Mono and the test. So here you'll see I don't have Docker. I don't have any Docker containers running. I do have Docker installed, which is why I can run this command. And then I'm just going to execute the setup. So just execute this. Password, local password, and then you'll see it just kind of kick off.
One question, Tiga.
Mm-hmm.
Do we need to set up some env variables before doing this?
Yes, I just thought about that as I read this. So basically, while that's running, what the README talks about, right, is to go into the Mono service and copy the env to the env.example into .env. And then the same thing in FD system, you copy the .env example into .env. We'll add that step here just so that it's complete.
But apart from copying it, do we need to put some values on them, or as default is okay?
I think all the defaults work. The only thing that we may have to come back and do is get the, no, I think actually we have a test account in here right now. Let me just check. So here, these defaults work. You don't need this.
I think we don't have that many options in the env example file on FD system.
FD system. Can you pull that repo again?
I can tell we have enable trail and trail_org, and that's it.
Are you able to pull the repo now, or you're not connected, so you can't?
I think. Oh, okay. Okay. Now I can.
Yeah, I think I updated some of these earlier.
Yeah. Now yes. Okay.
Okay. So, and thanks. These defaults should all. Yeah, these defaults should all work. Let me just make sure. Yeah. So we have this. This is default. This is false turned off. Don't need that set. This default works, and then this default works. Actually, I might need to change this value. We'll come back to that. And then let me just check Mono real quick. This is env example. I just added a log level in here. That's not necessary. I think this is one that might need to be changed. Let's see. That's fine. So yeah, this is the only one that may not be correct. And so in that Santander branch, this template bucket needs to be set to local shift templates. And that should be it. Did I delete? Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, well, anyway, we can try it out with my computer if you want to when Daniel clones that two repositories of the templates, right?
Okay, yeah, that will work.
Okay.
All right, so yeah, back over here, FD system, you'll see that it ran through some of these errors here are just kind of compiled. Worry about these. So it switched over, it got the templates, it pushed those out to the S3 bucket, and then it set up complete. So now if I do this, I have all the Docker containers running, local stack, Postgres, Elasticsearch, Mongo, and Redis. You can also see these from the dashboard here if you care for a graphical view. It will show you, so this is everything running under compose files, and it'll show you everything that's running. Docker, this is in Docker CLI or Docker's desktop application. All right, and so that pretty much shows all of that. We didn't add, I don't think we added this particular app. We don't use it that much. Sometimes it helps if you want to see what is in the S3 buckets. So in this case, this app is called Commandeer. It's just a local CLI or client for accessing everything in local stack. So here, if I yeah. So it'll show you all the buckets here. Apparently, I need to upgrade to see all my data now. So I might need to find another tool for this. But this was really just a visual for knowing that you have S3 buckets. So there are a couple other projects out there like that. I'll look for a couple and recommend some where you can analyze and see what's in your S3 buckets in the local stack environment. All right, so that's pretty much it from the particular setup script. While we're in here, I'm just going to show this other one and then show a few other things that are going to be necessary to move forward. So the next one is we also have a teardown script. This is really just to clean up your environment. Sometimes you need to do this if Docker containers get stuck, or if you just want to I do it almost daily where I will, if I've been working on anything, I'll come in, I'll tear down the entire stack, and I'll bring the stack back up just to kind of get started again, to make sure I have a clean set of data and that kind of thing. So you can run this script. It'll pretty much just tear down the environment. It'll clean up all those, and I'll show you what it does. So it looks to see if you have any of those proxy set up. It looks to see if you have certs set up. It removes all those resolvers. It removes package lock and node modules from this repo if we created it. That's for that trail stuff. And then we clean up all those Docker Compose containers. And so now you'll see that we have no containers running. So that's just one of the other scripts there. I'll go through this one. This one is pretty much just a C database. So it's doing similar thing, but it's really just like I already have the databases up. I'll do a force recreate on those databases just to refresh them. And then it'll go through and run the C scripts again. So instead of tearing down the entire environment, you can just reseed it. So it'll reset the environment for you here as well. Just kind of options that you have if you want to use those. All right, so the next set here, once you have everything running, then there's a few things that we use as tools. There's a CLI called Fuge that we use that helps us run the services from the back end. So this particular config, this is a YAML config file. It kind of documents all the services that might be there. And which ones these run. I think we need to update this. I'll talk when Daniel gets back, we'll confirm, but we might need to make sure everything is here. And for you to run Fuge, I'll show you what that means here in a sec. You have to have all these services checked out locally in the folders that they're, because it tries to process to make sure it has access to all of them. Or if you don't really want to do that, you can, like if you don't need to check anything out, you can comment it out and still run it that way as well. And I'll show you that here in a second. Let me see what all I have. Yeah, so I only have mono checked out. So what I would do in this case, right, if I wanted to run this, I would comment all these out since I don't have them cloned right now. Until I check them out. And we'll walk through this in just a second. There's also this start Fuge file. This pretty much is run anytime you want to bring up the Fuge shell, but it just makes sure the databases are running. And then we use the npx command to get Fuge, so you don't have to do any npm install or anything on it to have those resources. This npx command will grab it for you. So essentially what happens in this case is I don't have my databases running anymore. So let me do that. Let me do this again. Let's get back to this state. Start there. While we're in here, there's some other things you will see. We'll delete that. There's some other things that you'll see in here. We also use this repo when we were running Minikube locally for Kubernetes. That was more of just my test environment if I needed to do anything. So normally development, on the service for feature development didn't use that. They just used their local environment. But sometimes you can, if you need Minikube or you need some Kubernetes environment locally, some of these other scripts set that up for you. I won't go through that at this time. So that's what some of these other folders and scripts you see here. So while that's coming up, I'm going to switch over to Mono and walk through a few things over there that are related. So you'll see that the FD system, one of the things I stated was that it seeds the environment with seed scripts. So in F1 Service Mono, you'll see a repo here called seeds. There are a bunch of different folders here. I'll go over what these mean, but this is pretty much the directory of any seed data that happens in the environment. And so when it says memob here, it's a funny story. So when Spain was coming up with a name for their service, they started with memob, then it went to Levo.
That I didn't know.
Yeah, it was we started development under memob, and then it changed to Levo, and then it changed back to memob, and then right before we went live, it changed to Wabi01. So if in any projects you see memob, Levo, or Wabi01, they're all the same. There was just some cases where we didn't go back and try to redo, especially some of the infrastructure, because it was already deployed and operating under that name. So like in AWS, you might see Levo, that's Wabi01.
Okay, good to know.
So you have development and production. We only use the production script. So when we spin up a new marketplace, for instance, let's say Denmark, because that's the one that everyone's been talking about lately. Denmark comes on board. We will use seed scripts to do an initial seed of the environment. with marketplace data, any pricing information that we get from kind of requirements gathering. So we have a requirements gathering session for that new marketplace, in this case like Denmark, and then we'll take all that and put in seed scripts and seed the environment. So the production ones should only be run in the case of that initial production run, but you could also use it locally if you wanted to seed your environment with a set of data that's more related to production as well. And I'll show you how you can set that with an environment variable. But all this is just kind of walking through this. It does a clear on the databases, so it just clears everything out, and then it goes through each, and we'll get into more of these, more of all of the entities later, but it pretty much goes down and walks through every entity that needs to be populated and populates them. So markets, dealers, locations, users, providers, it just goes through each one and it populates those, the tables, the database tables, whether it's Mongo, Postgres, with some test data. So as you saw here in the seed scripts, it's actually running through and seeding the data. In this case, it used the development seeds, seeded the data with my environment with that. Okay. The other thing that you see here too is it ran some migrations. So in the same F1 service mono, there is a migrations folder. And these are all the migrations that have been executed over time in this platform. And so pretty much all of these have to execute to get it to the current day state that needs to be there. All right. And so we're using connects to do the migrations. We'll go over that also at a later point. But as far as where things are that's happening, those setup scripts run through migrations first to get the databases into the right schema, and then it runs through seeds. And in this case, it ran through the development seeds. All right, I'm going to stop there. Any questions before we go any further? Okay. And Daniel, have you gotten back yet, or are you still gone? Guess he's not back yet. I'm trying to figure out how he left and he's still signed on. Let me text Daniel.
You mean that he left the VPN?
Oh, I mean, I think he's on VPN, but it didn't sign him out of team. Well, it still shows like he's still signed in or he's still on the meeting. But
I think it is. It's something that it's allowed. Yeah, he can join the meeting and not having the VPN active.
Okay, we'll give him a second to get back, and let me go through this really quickly. All right, so let's see where we were. We ran through this. The next thing I was going to show you was the fuse. All right, so let's do that. All right, so we have the script start fuse, and it should make sure the databases are all there. And then the last thing it'll do is it'll start up a little fuse CLI. All right, so now I'm in the Fuse shell, and this pretty much gives you like all the services that it knows. So in this case, I commented out PDF asset download and these other services, so it only shows me that I have one service that is tracking. It is watching that service, so if I make changes to the repository and I had it started, it will actually it will also actually restart the service as well. Let's just see what happens. I don't know if I have everything set up yet, so let me just see. So you can run start mono, and that's supposed to start the mono service. And in this case, it goes through all the log messages to say it started, and it actually started. And now when I do a PS, it'll tell you that this service is running. And let's just see something really quickly. If I curl localhost 3000, yeah, works. That's not what I need to do. This way, yeah. And so it started. It's running. One thing you'll see as well is it says it's tailing logs. So it'll spit out logs in this log folder under Fuge, and you'll see all the logs here. So if you're ever troubleshooting anything, wanted to see what logs there were, you could come here and have a stack trace of logs. It'll do that for every service that it is running and watching if those services are running. And so you'll see where I made a request. So it was running. I made this request for health, and I made another request for health C, and it is showing where those requests came in. Let's see what else. So that's just kind of getting that running. I need to clone Portal. That'll be the next one, but I wanted to go through test in mono next, but that was kind of Daniel's task. So I need to wait for him to get back.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if there's anything else I can go over while he's gone.
Can I ask you a question, Tiga?
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, I don't know if this is a common feeling of the team or it's just mine. Can you repeat what is the migrations folder you were talking about 5 minutes ago?
The migration folder?
Yep.
Okay. So in F1 Service Mono, there's this migrations folder. And mostly we've used like these are just Postgres migrations for database schemas, right? So in this case, we had an initial schema that was set up for that database, and at some point we decided to add some additional information. So we added a template for some activity types, or we added a PG crypto extension that we needed. So these were just over time. So you'll see these go back to 2016, 2017, just a bunch of migrations here where we just we needed to modify the schema. And I know in some organizations, database operations are handled outside of applications. I think that's some discussions that we can have, as if we need to split this out and do something like do a different pipeline around it, and so maybe somebody else really handles that. However, for our organization at the time, we did both sides of it, and so we kept it located with the source code for this service. So anytime we need to make we need to do a migration on Postgres specifically, we'll create a new migration script, and you'll see this is the connects format. So there is a exports up and an exports down. If you decided to go back in time, it'll do both of those. And I'm just in case anyone's not familiar, I'll pull it up here. But we pretty much use Connects.js in the platform for database manipulation and connection. And so it has this migration section, and it walks through how you set up migrations.
But when you say migration, what do you mean with a migration? So you deploy continuously the whole database schema?
No, not
No.
to continuously. So let's say I have a new feature, amended invoice, right? And let's say amended invoice needed to add to a particular database table. Let's say our bills table.
Okay.
We needed to add a new ID field.
Yep.
What we would do is we create a new migration script for
Yes.
that new field.
Sure.
And in this case, this exports.up is really just saying if I'm going to run this migration and roll it out in that environment, this is the script I'm going to execute. And let's say this is vehicle prices, but I could change this to like bills or whatever, and I could say table.float. That's the column name would be rate and not nullable and auto. So you're setting the field on that table. And then when
this
you also
is something.
Go ahead.
Yeah, please.
Oh no, I was saying as you will have an up, like this up is when I want to go forward, and then let's say something went wrong with that migration, you also provide a script for reverting it. So if I needed to roll back one, I revert it and it goes back to what state it was before this particular script ran.
Sure, yeah. Yes, this is exactly the way we work, or at least the way I know we have worked until now. This is something to check with Anna's team or Jesus Torres, I think. In each deployment, if the database should change or the schema, yes, we have to provide those two scripts. So the first one with the changes, and the second one with the rollback in case something goes wrong.
Okay.
But it's something, yeah, and it depends on a different team than the application team. So we have, all these little details, we have to check them with Anna.
Okay. Yeah, I assumed as much. I've been in some larger organizations as well, and we also had that where there was a database team,
Yes,
and so the development team wrote the scripts, and then either they had access to a repo that they checked them into for the database team that then reviewed it and prepared it for release, and then as part of the release planning, that was something to take into consideration.
That's the same. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah,
but we don't know yet which teams they are.
Right. Yep. Okay. So yeah, we use those are all here. So like in the case where we're let's say when we're building out the environment for Santander, all of these scripts will need to be transitioned to or copied to whoever is going to manage the databases and executed against the database to get it into the correct state.
I see. Okay. Good.
And then changed from there. I'll have to find them. I know there are a couple scripts in here that also deal with setting up MongoDB.
Great.
It was, I think because we had the model already in place, we just used the same model for doing any changes we needed to Mongo. So like in this case, we were adding some configuration details. So we just followed the same type of pattern.
So you mean that we can check all these, I don't know if they are folders, I don't see them. All these scripts, at least we can check them all and follow them and get to configure Mongo?
Yeah, so like this, if you run through all these migrations, it will add, so there are two things, right? When Mongo starts, it will look at all the models that are set up and it will create all the tables based on the models that are set up.
I see.
But in this case, we also had these additional changes, like we're adding we were adding a new model, so the configuration model, but we also needed to seed that model with some data. And so this is where we were updating some data based on that model.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So we pull some data from these configs, and then we populate that model with this configuration data. And so we used it to populate some data.
Yeah, Alvaro B, do you have you talked to Anna about this database thing? Because I know you asked some questions to Daniel about database
No,
scripts.
no,
Not
I
yet.
think this is not a thing for Anna. But well, usually the database people ask us for a incremental SQL script. I know that normally is the way in which we deploy or we create the database. So what we have to check all of this, and in order to know how we are going to do this.
And then if it's not Anna, then it's what's the name of Torres? Jesus? Jose. Jesus.
I don't know. Perhaps it's Anna. I don't know.
Vale.
I think this is not a task for Anna, but I don't know.
Because when I asked Anna, when I asked who is going to provide the Mongo and this Postgres database infrastructure, first name that appeared was Anna. That's why we'll see. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, so that's the migrations folder and kind of what's in there. Did the seed scripts make sense?
Sure, from my side. Sure, thank you.
All right. Daniel, are you back yet?
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay.
Everything
All right,
should be there.
Okay. Yeah. So Guillermo, everything should be there now. But in this case, we just need the F1 shift templates, or since that's the default.
Yeah.
If you clone
I was checking it. Let me. Yeah. I will do it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Perfect. All right. So Daniel, pretty much what I've gotten to is we have the environment up, seeded. I've started Mono. I showed them Fuge and commented out the services that I didn't have cloned just to show kind of that example. And then I just have Mono running here. And I executed a few curl commands just to see that it was, operating. I think we're at this case where we probably can run through some tests on Mono and go through and show Portal. Do you want to take those?
Sure.
Okay. All right. I'm going to stop sharing now.
Okay, so let me. Let me dive into Portal now. Okay, so F1 Portal is a single-page application, all written in React. It uses React, Redux, and yeah, can dive in. So one thing about Portal that's a little bit different and strange, and I would recommend that we go away from this, is it's kind of like it's two separate applications and kind of not. There's admin portal, which the administrators can log in and manage all the different dealerships and locations, and they can masquerade or fake like that they're a dealer user. And then there's also this dealer portal, which is the portal that the dealers log into.
Hey, Daniel, did you share your screen?
I thought I had. Jeez. Struggling again with basics. It's not sharing. Let me try this again.
Yeah.
Okay, working now?
Nope.
No?
Not yet.
I have a red border around my screen. Still nothing, huh?
Nope. Maybe VPN messed you up.
Yes, that's it. Or maybe.
Possibly. Okay, let me see if sharing just the window works.
Nope.
Anything?
Not yet.
When you share, is the border around your window red or is it a different color?
Yeah, it's red.
Okay, so there's a red border around my screen, so I don't know why it's not sharing.
Okay, let me see if I.
Perhaps you are sharing one application instead of all the window, all the screen.
I tried both ways and it seems neither is working.
Yeah, so I just shared. I guess you guys can see my screen now. Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, so
Yeah.
Daniel, it works when I share. I can give you, I mean, I know you don't know my desktop, but I can, I guess, give you control if you want. Or if you want to drop and try to come back on and then.
One question. If we move now to Portal, can we move back when we clone repositories? I mean, I've already cloned them, but I'm waiting for Alvaro to do it so we can do it at the same time. The steps that we were doing on your PC.
Okay, yeah, we can do that.
Oh, that would be great. Yes.
So just to make sure I understand, basically you guys are cloning the templates repos and make sure everything else is there. And you're going to run through those commands for copying the environment variables, doing the FD system setup, and trying to start the mono environment, correct?
No,
Yeah,
it's not
correct. Yeah.
For me, it's not correct. I am in the environment variables part.
Okay, yeah, perfect.
I just pulled the repository. I think that at this moment I have more things in the example file, but I am in that point at this moment.
Okay.
Hi.
Yeah, we're here. I'm here.
Okay.
I was waiting to see if.
Yeah. Thought I was alone.
Sorry, I just removed my headphones, so I don't know if you were saying anything to me.
No.
I was just trying to help Alvaro. Okay, so I guess that on Friday I already did the npm install for Mono, and well, I think there's an error here because I can't do npm install for FD system as there's no package JSON file on FD system. Is this right or?
Yeah, that's just a bad. That's just a bad step. We can remove that step. That shouldn't be there.
So I guess that I just need to run infra /setup.
Yes.
.bash. Okay, so I will do it now. I did it on Friday, but I was getting an error, I guess, due to the lack of the templates repos, right? Okay, so I will tell you now.
And if you run into any errors, it might help if you share your screen, and then we can step through what may be going on. If it errors, if not, we can move forward.
Do you hear me?
I can now. What
Hello?
happened? Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah. I removed the VPN, so it's actually working. So
okay, perfect.
So I'm gonna execute the infra setup.
Okay.
So I'll tell you now. So I can share my screen if you want to. So
Yep. Yeah, if you don't mind.
yeah,
Sometimes it's a bit of.
I'm not hiding anything at all.
A veces es un rollo ir y venir y pegar cosas y te estamos viendo todo lo que haces. Pone nervioso.
Me he puesto en no molestar.
We can see Tiga's screen yet.
Are you seeing my screen or Tika's? Tika's. Okay.
Tiga screen.
Okay. So.
I thought I
we'll
stopped
do it again.
sharing.
Yeah, maybe that would be great. Yeah. What about now?
Nope.
I still see Tiga's screen.
I don't know if.
What screen
because
do you all see of mine? Because I'm not sharing anymore.
I'm not seeing any screen right now.
I think it has frozen or something like that.
Yeah.
It's
Visual Studio Code and huge YAML file on the console. What I think is.
Oh yeah, that's frozen because my screen is on the terminal and Chrome right now. Let me try dropping and re-adding so maybe it'll clear that session. I'll be right back.
Okay.
El mismo error. Ay, hostia.
Guillermo, ¿has hecho lo de la variable de entorno?
No, Álvaro.
Can you repeat, Álvaro, please?
Que si has hecho la variable de entorno.
Sí, eso simplemente te coges el archivo .te lo copias otra vez en el mismo, en la misma carpeta y lo renombras quitándole el example y el punto final.
Okay.
Álvaro, una cosita. ¿Tú has conseguido hacer el npm install? Porque a mí me está dando error por todos lados.
Error.
Si quitas lo VPN
no
debería
encuentro el
funcionar.
repositorio. No, yo lo intento con los dos.
Es verdad. Vale, eso lo tuve que cambiar, sí. Eso lo cambié a mano.
Vale.
Sí.
Vale, pues ahora lo cambio. Vale.
Pero a mí me salía error en registry de F1 utils.
Sí, ahí lo que tienes que hacer es...
Justo.
Bueno, puedes hacer varias cosas. O te vas a su GitHub y te traes todo el archivo, el package.json, te lo traes y te lo pegas encima del que tienes ahora mismo. O directamente te traes la línea que falla. Que es que lo que pasa es que antes lo tenían subido a npm y ahora lo tienen subido como un repositorio de GitHub. Entonces nosotros tenemos una referencia desactualizada y por eso peta.
Entonces lo que hay que arreglar es la referencia para que apunte a nuestro repositorio.
Sí. A ver, supongo que con el deployment que hayan hecho hoy se habrá arreglado. No sé por qué vosotros. ¿Lo has actualizado? ¿Has sincronizado el GitHub?
No he hecho un pool de FD Systems para lo de la variable entorno. Más no. No he probado.
Yo lo he sincronizado en teoría y aún así me está dando el error. O sea que no sé.
Oye, perdonad, ¿creéis que esto se está grabando bien? Es que yo no tengo ni idea de cómo se graba. Sí. Esto que pone 819 al lado del punto rojo, ¿ese 819 qué es? ¿Me entendéis?
A mí me sale 10612.
Hello?
Sí, igual. Hi.
Hello.
Again.
Okay.
Vale, okay. Then it's me.
So, are you seeing my screen? No, right?
Nope.
No.
I think that as I'm not connected to the VPN, this isn't working. So give me a second and I will connect.
Daniel, are you back?
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay. Yeah, we were having problems getting reconnected. It just kind of stalled out on us as well.
Can you see my screen now?
Not yet.
Nope.
Not?
No.
Oh, there it is.
Okay. So basically, I'm reporting this error after executing the infra setup.
Can you do a Docker PS?
Yeah, sure. Let me put this quiet. Oh no, this bug appears when you're sharing the screen. Well, never mind.
Actually, for that one, if you switch back to mono and recopy the .env.example file over your .env file, that should fix that issue.
In mono, okay.
Mono.
Yeah, because I was actually using the other day's file. So yeah. Okay.
Let's see. Can you pull down the latest?
Yep.
I think there's updates since then as well.
Okay.
It looks like you're on a train. If you can merge in the latest from the Santander branch, it should fix that issue.
Okay. ¿Por qué no me deja? Yeah, it's asking me to remove the tree lock. So, but I don't want to remove the previous changes that I did the other day. So I don't know.
Just stash them.
Okay. So okay.
Yeah, you might have to commit them locally and then stash them, and then you should be able to merge in.
Okay, so I guess that now I will be able to. You were asking me to change to Santander branch, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So.
Yeah, and then copy that env.
Okay, so I should reload again, apply again the code. Sorry, to re-execute the infra setup, right?
Yes. I don't. Daniel, he doesn't need to tear it down, right?
No, it should be fine just to re-execute the setup script. The old example file had Postgres as the host instead of localhost, and that's what was going wrong.
Oh, Stripe.
Okay. Yeah.
VPN now, right?
Okay, so I can try to disconnect from the VPN, and I don't know if the screen will still be sharing, but well, let's try.
Okay.
Kanselista. Okay, so let's try again.
Yes, the AWS local command.
So how can I fix this?
That's that command. I think it's in the. Daniel, you added that on the Santander branch, right?
Yeah, it should be there. Looking, getting started.md.
In mono?
Yeah, in mono. Scroll down to getting started.md. You're in .md right now.
Yeah, in your navigation, in the file navigation, scroll down to getting started. And then they're under at the top on line 14.
Here.
Yep.
Okay, I installed it using PIP, not PIP3, but I don't know if it's the same. So.
Okay, now type AWS local. One second. Daniel, did you have problems with yours?
No, it added it for me. Let me check to see where it puts that in.
Yeah, mine is in user local bin. There's
Yeah, mine's also in user local.
Do a ls on user local bin. Hey, Guillermo.
Sorry?
Just do a directory listing on user USR local bin in your terminal. That's fine in your terminal. I put it in the chat.
Okay.
The Teams chat.
Okay. So give me a second.
Yeah, there it is.
Sorry, having troubles with the trackpad. Okay, so where's the terminal? Okay, right here.
Do an ls first. ls space. Yeah. ls space user local bin.
Es que le faltaba una L, creo.
LS.
That's fine. Yeah.
Aquí una L.
Eso es.
Yeah, I didn't install it.
Do you want me to give you control, just to check whatever?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, you might just try uninstalling it and reinstalling it again with pip3.
All yours.
Okay, perfect. So you did say you installed with pip?
Yep, I did it with pip, without the 3. Because
what's that thing called? CLI local.
CLI dash local.
I know. I'm hitting dash and it's still in the.
Wow, the keyboard configuration is probably different.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Oh my God.
Problems of the different keyboards.
Yeah.
All right, so that worked, and then let's do pip 3 install AWS CLI. Oh, AWS CLI dash.
Good teamwork, guys.
Yeah,
Keep
yeah.
going.
See if this does it. Ugh. What does it say installed it? Does not say. Oh, that's the dash. Okay, I found what it is now. Dash is /.
Slash, it's Shift 7.
Shift 7. Perfect. I'll go back. Okay, so it's not putting it there. 1 second. And you said you have Python 2 set. Oh, quit. What is opening parentheses?
That's Shift 8.
Yep, sorry.
And then 9. Gotcha. Python 3 is on here. Yeah, it's there. 385. So yeah, we need to get that. I need to figure out where that is. It seems to be installing in a different location on your machine, and it must be whatever location it is not on your path. And then you said it installed correctly in your path? But did you have it for a while, Daniel?
Yeah, I've had it for a while, so it could be that something changed. I can try it on my other Mac a little bit later and see if it's having the same issue. It's also possible that Homebrew installed it in a different location. That's just not on the path.
What if we ran brew doctor? But it should be running brew, right? Though it's just oh, you mean for where it installed?
Where it installed Python 3 and how it configured that.
Okay. Let's see. I'm checking real quick on my local machine too and seeing if it. It's not working. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna have to figure this one out. I'm gonna have to run to this locally and see if I can on a different machine, maybe. I think we've probably had this installed for a little while. Let me check the issues on this CLI. Oh, interesting. It said they had to install local stack first. Let me try this. I don't know where it's putting it. Do you have? I'm gonna check this location real quick. Oh, I can't do that.
Sorry.
Oh, no, it's fine. Nope. Tilde?
This one or this one?
The squiggly.
This one.
Not that one.
Which one?
this one.
Pon it chat.
Yeah, just go check this path.
Did you wrote it on the chat?
Yeah, I wrote it on the chat.
Okay.
I want to check that path.
Actually, I don't know how to put it on Windows, but not on Mac. But I can copy it and. Okay. Okay, that one. Yeah. You also have it on the portfolio.
What was it?
It's option and our special N character. So I guess, well, maybe if you press option and the right button. Okay. I mute. No.
Option right button. Oh.
Okay. No. If you click option and then the right
Arrow
button that is next to the L. No, not arrow. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see it. Okay, gotcha.
Okay.
Option semicolon. And what was /?
Shift 7.
Shift 7. That's okay. Perfect.
Sorry. I will try to put different keyboard in my Mac.
Okay, so it's installed there. It's just not linking it. Let's just do.
Maybe we should add it to the path file.
Yeah, that's probably the best. We can just add it to the path for now and figure out later.
It was open./ZSHRC, maybe the file where path variables are.
You want to go ahead and do it? Just add this path to your path variable.
Okay, I'm not really sure about if this was this location, but if I remember well, it was something like. Okay.
Oh yeah, it's tilde. Instead of the dot, it'll be tilde.
Okay, so.
The option semicolon. Yep.
Hey, sorry.
Yeah, and then RC.
Okay.
Oh, and it's a .zshrc. Yep. Right. Yep.
Okay. So yeah.
You need to add path $path, and you need to change export to little e. Yep. At the end of that.
Okay. With the with the 2 dots.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep, that works.
So let's try now.
And you're probably gonna have to restart the terminal for it to take that.
Okay. I don't know if I have another instance. Okay. Okay, so which was the command you were executing?
That's the one. That's the one I was looking for. The first one that you ran should have been the one that we were.
This one.
Yeah, that one. Let me see.
I don't know if maybe I have to restart the computer.
You shouldn't.
I don't know. At least on Windows, when you touch the path variables, sometimes you have to restart. I don't know.
No, that's fine.
Well, feel free to take control.
Okay, let me see. Sorry, I didn't expect this problem. Let's see. version 7. What was it? Library. Python 2.7. Python packages.
Alvaro is telling me that as far as he's seen, it's loading Python 2.7 instead of 3.8.
Even when you run the pip3 command? Oh yeah, it looks like it is still loading. Python 2.7. That's not true. Oh, you don't have pip yet, pip3. Huh. Daniel, what did you do to get Python 3?
I installed it with Brew, and then I think it had automatically configured pip3.
Let me try this real quick.
Ah, no. Ahora no. Ahora no estoy con la VPN.
Okay, so that's already installed. So when I run pip, there should be pip3. No, it's still pointing to 7.
I think by default, when you install Python 3 with Brew, it uses the Python 3 alias and pip3 alias to differentiate from Python 2.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But even when we run pipe, our pip3, it looks like it's still pointing to 2.7.
Yeah, that's weird.
I can try again, but what we saw here was pip3 install AWS CLI -local. It looks like it's installing. It's at least giving us the 2.7 deprecation, and it's referencing 2.7 for requirements. So let's just see. So I know if I run Python 3 version, version. Yeah, so but and then the alias wouldn't work here. So this should be Python 2. Yeah. Which is weird because this says 2.7.16, and that was 2.7.8, I thought. Okay, because we're a bit over time too. I know we have an 11 o'clock.
Yep.
So this is the last thing to get kind of worked through. That I need to run through steps on a clean machine because my machine already has it. I can try to uninstall it and see if I can get it to work, and then I can send you guys instructions on setting it up once we get through. What version of MacBook are you on?
The latest.
Okay.
As far as I know, I don't know the number, but I upgraded just like a few days ago.
Can you read
It's
this
Catalina,
to me?
I think.
Oh, Catalina, yes. All right, cool. All right, let me see. I think I'm on Catalina as well, but I've had it since I was 2 versions ago. So I'll reinstall my local environment, and then I'll send instructions on how to get the CLI working.
Okay.
Okay, perfect.
So let's do this tomorrow. So we'll send that information out today before we end the day. If you all would confirm with us tomorrow, if you're able to get FD system completely working through the instructions, we'll also update the instructions with the changes that we've talked about. And then tomorrow we can pick up with Portal.
Okay.
And that really, we'll pick up with Portal and all the other services, and we'll quickly go through those, and then that'll lead us into the architecture. I think we have enough time built in. If we need to add a session this week to continue to go through this, we can. But this is the critical step. Once we get this step done, everything else should be pretty straightforward.
And does everyone run through these steps? If you run into any other issues, just send us a list of issues that you run into, and we'll try to address them before the meeting tomorrow.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, sorry about this, guys. I wasn't aware of this particular issue.
It's okay.
Don't worry. Thanks for your time.
Okay. All right, perfect. Well, we'll talk again at 11,
Yep.
and then we'll update everything else the rest of the day. But thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you very much.
See you.